The best of Money Matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. In a perfect world, as an entrepreneur, you kick off your startup with your best friend of 10 years or build your empire with your significant other. But more often than not, finding a co-founder is not that simple. And what if there was a solution to this problem? Well, our next guest founded a Tinder-like app to find a co-founder for your next business. CoffeeSpace is a matchmaking platform to connect more founders with their potential co-founders, team members, or even investors via online networking. So how does it work? Well, co-founder Hazim aims to facilitate meaningful connections among aspiring entrepreneurs, emphasizing the importance of finding compatible partners in the startup ecosystem. So joining me today to share more is Hazim Mohamad, who is the co-founder of CoffeePlace. Hazim, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Hongbin.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Hazim. Now, CoffeeSpace is a platform that connects individuals looking for co-founders or partners for startup ventures. What was the inspiration or the story behind the creation of CoffeeSpace? Was there a particular gap in the market that you wanted to fill? Tell us more.
So it's a combination of personal experience. As well as market validation.
Okay.
I was at the World Bank. I had an idea for like 2 years. I didn't do much about it till I posted about it on Facebook and met my co-founder through that. Basically, we were strangers who connected over a Facebook post. It was at the back of my mind for 2 years, but having a co-founder changed everything. You know, we explored over weekends together, strangers, like just passionate about the same problem and became co-founders. But that was not the initial problem we served. We connected to serve. We were passionate about another thing, but push come to shove, we went through the Ancillary Accelerator program and learned our friends the cohort members who were part of it said Hazim, we know you're serving like this 5-6 different problem spaces, out of which co-founder matching could be one. But could you just focus on this one thing, right? This is existential for us. I'm like, how existential? They're like, we'll pay you upfront before you build anything. So that's what we had. I could share more about that story, but ultimately it was my personal experience thinking about something, but not actually doing something about it till finding a co-founder, but also the market validation. Because there are a few existential level problems within the startup space, but this is one of those that's been rather overlooked.
I see. But for people who are not entrepreneurs here, help us explain, why is it crucial to have a co-founder? What benefits does it have? Why can't you just be that sole founder of a company?
So you could, but it's just very difficult. The number of things you need to be able to do as a as a founder of a company, engineering, product, design, sales, fundraising. So there are definitely people who have the ability to do all of that. But even so, it is a lot of work. You can move faster with the right co-founder, and it's the ups and downs of a startup. The highs are highs, but the lows are really low. And without another person who is equally invested, motivated to get through the startup journey with you, it's just, that's why if you look at the FANG companies, all but Amazon, Bezos is a solo founder. Everyone else had a co-founder. 92% of funding goes to companies with more than 2 co-founders. So it's just statistically, it's much more likely for your startup to work with the right co-founder. But having a bad co-founder is worse. So
that's true. Well, I want to know about CoffeeSpace. It's a Tinder or a Hinge-like app, and it's not where you find the love of your life, but you find a co-founder of your life and meet others exploring entrepreneurial ideas. So how exactly does this app work? Walk us through what a potential user of the app might experience with CoffeeSpace.
So you download the app. We're available on both App Store or Google Play. You sign up, you create a profile, and ultimately, you'll put some preferences. You'll get recommendations similar to how Hinge, Tinder works. And if it's someone who fulfills, these people will fulfill your preferences, but ultimately, is this someone, you're interested enough to want to swipe right on? It will be a match if both of you opt in to match. And then you text.
Is there a different, one might be a founder with like ideas. I want to start up this idea. And then one could be a founder that doesn't have an idea but just wants to join in on the ride.
Absolutely.
Okay. So is there a screening process that you guys go through to have for these users though? I mean, there could be people who use the app not for the right purpose, right?
Yes. So there is a current screening. It will be automated. But ultimately, we depend on LinkedIn right now. If you have a LinkedIn profile with some education experience, some connections, that is the first layer of defense. But ultimately, long term, and you have hundreds of thousands. So we passed 10,000 users recently. Oh, wow. When you have hundreds of thousands or millions of users, you can't review them, every single one. So then our pointer is we don't need to guarantee quality as long as we can ensure relevance. If you have millions of people as a user, as long as we can learn as quickly as possible what your preferences, your type is, and give you 1,000 good leads, even just 500 good leads, you're probably going to be happy. Okay. So the question is, how fast can we learn your type? How fast can we give those people, and ultimately it's active people who will match with you. And on the other side is having a noise detection mechanism, to control. But because it's a double opt-in, the noise level is a lot lower than socials.
Okay. Okay. So is this a free-to-use platform, or is there a pricing plan for CoffeeSpace?
It's a freemium version. Okay. It's a freemium app, essentially. So for everyone can use the app for free. But if you want access to premium features, then you pay for that.
Okay, so what are some of the premium features that you can expect?
So right now, every day we give 10 recommendations for people who are free. And we give 50 recommendations, people who are on business class. And there are premium filters as well. For example, one of our premium filters is prior startup experience. Have you worked in a startup before? Have you built a startup? Have you sold a startup before? 6% of our users have sold companies before. Okay. If you want to only match with people with, who have sold companies before, that's premium. You don't need a co-founder who sold a company before. So that's another, your invite goes top of the list. So it's quite, if you look at how dating apps have monetized, we got a lot of inspiration from that. But it's just tailored to the co-founder matching.
I see. Do you have any data on how fast the match can be made on this app?
So right now, the median is about 4 to 5 days. So from the point of you joining, sending the initial, match, depending on how active you are as well, of course. If you have not sent any right swipes, then that takes a little longer. But on average, median is 5. But many people do get within 1-2 days, same day.
And I want to know more about the building your own profile. So what kind of questions does the app ask for you to fill out? Obviously you need to know your name, etc. But what other
the
criteria?
Private data, So the data specific to CoffeeSpace that enables us to do this better than general platforms like LinkedIn is do you already have an idea, or are you exploring ideas? Because ultimately, if two people are committed, they probably shouldn't really talk unless it's the same idea. So do you have an idea? What is your timeline to want to start full-time? Because 70% of our users are working full-time jobs and they're exploring on the side. So what is your timeline to want to do this full-time? What is the portfolio you want to cover? Do you want to own engineering? Do you want to work on engineering for the startup, design, sales? So portfolio is another location. You only want to match with someone within 50 miles or within 10 miles or within your country. So these are some of those.
I see. Are there already other co-founder matching platforms in the market right now? If so, how does CoffeeSpace differentiate itself from other co-founder matching platforms?
Yes. So there are 2 big ones, I would say. So one is Y Combinator's co-founder matching platform. So they have a big brand name, of course. So so we would say are our number one competitor. But in terms of just user base size, Co-Founders Lab actually has more. They have about 500,000 users, on Co-Founders Lab. How we're different than these platforms are basically in 3 ways. So one is being mobile first. Being mobile first means we have higher, faster response rates. Because when I ask my users, when do you swipe? When I wait for Grab, when I wait for coffee. That's one. Second is the algorithm itself. We can't know what the algorithms are, but ours we do believe is better. And because of that, I can go into the details a bit later if that is of interest. But ultimately, 24% of our recommendations get right swiped on. So basically, if I give you 4 recommendations on CoffeeSpace, as you sign up, you get 10. On average, you're going to swipe right on 2 or 3 of those people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the third one is the broader vision. Co-founder matching ultimately is our beachhead market. We're starting here, but we have learned from current usage of the app, people are finding early hires on CoffeeSpace too. So these are defined as employee number 1, 2, 3, up to probably Series A. Because up to Series A, everyone who joins a startup, they're much closer to a co-founder in nature rather than a general hire you find on LinkedIn or like Indeed. You want people who want to get their hands dirty, have the appetite for risk, are actually interested in startups. But you can't get these signals on LinkedIn because, if I show that, let's say I'm an employee, and I show that, my boss probably wouldn't promote me, might fire me. So it's a problem. It's a signaling problem on CoffeeSpace. Early hire basically is the closest thing to co-founders, and it's already happening. Because we had a trial period with a potential hire as well. He's like, Hazim, I'm exploring ideas, but I don't mind being your first hire. So it's a broader vision from co-founder match to early hire. And ultimately, because we will have an active database of founder profiles, the expanded vision is also to include founder investor matching. Is this interesting? This base, I'm actually meeting Antler tomorrow on this. So they're like, Hazim, actually, you have a pretty valuable data set. You know before anyone else when someone wants to build. Before people apply to accelerators like YC, Antler, they would need to find a co-founder first, generally. And that's what they're doing on CoffeeSpace. So ultimately, they're asking, we're exploring a LinkedIn sales navigator-like interface where investors will be able to see, access the database, look at founder profiles on CoffeeSpace. We'll need to add a few more data points like traction, stage of product. But think of it as a live private network of data rather than PitchBook, Crunchbase, which are more public information like aggregators. But on CoffeeSpace, if I see 20 investors viewed my profile this week, I'll be quite incentivized to update my profile. So from these 2 other markets, we're basically solving the problem of noise. But the expanded vision is part of how we're already approaching even the product building right now. So
I also am curious, how does CoffeeSpace handle the privacy and security of its users, especially, considering sensitive information like startup ideas and equity preferences? Aren't they also at risk of someone copying their startup ideas?
Yes, that is a risk that is real. How this is basically navigated within CoffeeSpace is twofold. So one is a private network, right? Like this is not someone where you can just search on Google and, your CoffeeSpace profile appears. So no, you have to download the app so only people within the app can see it. Then it's a question of how much you want to share on your profile versus not. Even let's say in terms of specificity of your idea, you could just say you're building a fintech, something that helps with cross-border payments. That's general enough, but it gives enough sense for other people to know what you're building. Otherwise, if you give something too generic, it's going to be hard for them to be interested to talk to you. So it is something that users themselves determine in terms of how general versus specific they want to share within the platform. But in my personal philosophy, I feel like unless it's something you're truly, you did a PhD in patentable, most ideas have been tried in one way or another. So in Silicon Valley, generally where we're building this, most people are pretty open. You want your idea to get out there so that, you can iterate fast and learn from people. So
I see.
Yeah.
Well, have there been any success story from users that have told you about how they found their co-founder?
Absolutely.
Really? Tell
Yes.
us about one that is memorable.
So one that is memorable, the earliest, so our very first match were 2 people in the US. I'll name them individual A and B. They are still in their, at least one of them is in their job. But ultimately, they were both interested in travel. One was product strategy at Nike. She was then she wanted to take a gap year. She wanted to build and travel. But she wanted a technical co-founder. And at this point, we were doing things manually. So the person we matched her with was actually a Series A software engineer in a travel startup. So this was one. So initially, it was all within the same country. We have at least, 2 or 3 success stories that we know of. Not everyone tells us. Because ultimately, just like Tinder, Hinge, they don't know every single success story. But if they tell us, we said to them, we'll publish about your story. So we have published a number of stories already. Every month, there's a series of co-founder success stories.
Right. Amazing. That's amazing. Well, one of the most critical or crucial decisions for an entrepreneur is picking the right co-founders, right? So since you have this app, in your opinion, what do you think are the most important factors that a founder should seek in a co-founder?
So I would say it's a combination of three things.
Okay.
So the first one is complementarity of skill sets. You don't want actually someone like you. Like ultimately, a startup has a lot of portfolios you want to cover, things you need to do. So you want someone who is at least slightly different, if not completely different than you in terms of skill set. But it also rings true from the perspective of personality. So my co-founder, so I have two co-founders, but one of my co-founders, Corinne, and myself, like our personalities are almost completely apart. I'm 96% extroverted, she, as much as possible, she likes engaging one-on-one with users and all. But public events, is not necessarily, her favorite. But going deep, coding hours, just doing 10, 12-hour coding marathons, is her thing. So in terms of interest, so personality and skill set, I would say would be two. But the other one is actually passion for the problem itself. And ultimately, if you're working with someone who is interested in there's market trends or your friends who've known each other, okay, let's build something cool together. But that's not really going to be enough. Because if you're not actually passionate about solving a problem deeply, when things get tough, and things will get tough, it's very easy to quarrel and ultimately if you can fight and fight well, then that is the ultimate indicator that you can work together, I would say. So passion for the problem usually means no matter what you fight about, that you both want to, you both, all three of you want to really solve this problem together. So those would be the three, I would say.
Well, before we let you go here, Hazim, we're 1 week into the new year of 2025. Yes. What's next for CoffeeSpace in 2025 and beyond? Any expansion plans in the pipelines? What's next?
There are two things we're really excited about this year. One is the expanded user experience. We know that just matching on the app is one part, right? You text, but there is a trial period that people should do, because ultimately these are not people you really know yet. Before you actually sign 50% of your company or whatever, you actually should do a trial period. And that's, what my co-founders and I did ourselves. It's there's varying definitions, but there's some timeline. It's 6 weeks to maybe 3 months. You work on something together just to know, do you have a fit in terms of the three things mentioned just now?
Right.
Portfolio, personality, skill set. So that is the expanded user journey, but also it's founder's journal. We want people to share their wins and losses, because then every profile I swipe on, even if it's a left swipe, I can still learn from what they've done. Those are valuable indicators. But it's also, as mentioned just now, the expansion into early hires and the founder-investor matching. But it's more of validating those as we expand the co-founder matching space product experience. So,
I see. Well, thank you so much, Hazim, for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Hongbin.
Thank you. That was Hazim Mohamad, who is a co-founder of CoffeePlace. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.